Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Ben the Human Plays Vagrus The Riven Realms. This is audio included part 2. I'm going to try to match it up as well to the video as I can. Here we go. Wounded, the despicable matriarch draws back into the darkness of her nest, but before the hunting party can pursue, her foul children bar your way. More of them pour into the cavern, and before long you're fighting a veritable battle against the pale arachnids. Urdok's orcs catch up to you in the chaos. Into the battle we go. All right. More spiders, and we still have our dwarf and orc companions. So I think most of the fights in the series of spiders include allies. So the people you choose, you kind of want to have a mix of backline and frontline so you can kind of work around what your allies are doing. When I was doing this actual fight, I did not take the time to notice the background. The background is really cool looking. Like if you look up at the top half of the screen, you can see all the egg sacs and stuff. It's very alien-esque. The spiders were not very particularly strong. At least the base spider, the pale arachnids. Another crit from Krifta. I go back and forth between whether or not I like Krifta as my second backliner, or third backliner, I suppose, because my two primary ones are Nadir and Finderath. I've ran with Javek for a while. Personally, if I had to redo the ally mission when it comes to choosing between Sidarius and Javek, my personal choice, the one that I think is better, is Sidarius. He's got the ability to cast Blessing of Unbinding at will on your companions. It's pretty good. The concentrated effort of you and your allies vanquishes the spiders, but many of the hunting party are badly wounded. The smaller arachnids might be gone for now, but the incessant skittering from the tunnels, crevices, and crags is a harsh reminder that their numbers are nigh indepletable. The matriarch has disappeared as well, probably drawing back to some dark corner to recuperate. We're not done yet. Tarhek, who has been carried by a tribesman and one of his shamans, speaks with great effort. He's been fighting a battle of the minds against the abominable creature, and you cannot tell for certain who is winning. At any rate, the young shaman looks drained and under constant pressure. Spirits of the ancestors, come to our aid, Urdok chants as if to himself, stepping over the corpse of a spider as he joins you. Give them your power, grant them life. As he speaks, several specters that have been circling the fight begin to dissolve. At the same time, your wounds close and your pain subsides. Your companions and Karendar's people are healed in a similar fashion. Look out! Tarhek says forcefully, but the warning is too late. The terrible bulk of the matriarch lunges out of the utter darkness of the cave, crushing two tribal warriors to death instantly. They do not even have time to cry out. Her landing shakes the ground, throwing many of you down. Urdok knocks his master out of the way without thinking. Before the beast's mandibles snap, can snap Tarhek's head off. Furious, the matriarch smashes into Urdok, dazing him before stabbing him with her front legs. She raises him up as if to take a good look in annoyance before burying her dagger-sized mandibles into her victim's neck. The shaman twitches from agony but remains quiet, using the last of his strength to call to the spirits and thank them. Then he goes limp. The creature tosses Urdok's body away carelessly and turns toward you. Several spiders have joined her furious effort to defend the nest, but so have your allies gained a second wind. Tarhek, now unburdened by the matriarch's attention, stands up, his face a mask of vengeance. This is our chance to end it, Vagrus. Karendar growls fiercely as he steps to your side. He is right. You must prevail if you want to see the sunlight again. I can't believe they killed Urdok like that. How rude. He was a solid man. And thanks to him, we got plus 15 vitality on all of our companions. I don't know what I'm talking about here. There we go. Into the final battle. Matriarch and three of her allied spiderlings. I think what I did here at the beginning is I used Karendar as just kind of a tank. Yes. Yep, I used Provoke on the main boss and had her attack him repeatedly. And it worked out pretty well. Spoiler alert. I think I had my allies take out the buddies, and then the spirit shaman boosting Karendar's defense helped a lot. Harvek being able to crit was pretty sick too. Another crit from Nadir takes out another ally of the spider. Yep, there's a 5, and then she attacks twice, so did 10 damage to Karendar in one go, which is half of his health. So I was glad it was him and not my allies, even though he was blocking. What I probably should have done is put him into Protector's stance instead of having him attack the Spider Queen. Although Nadir iced the Spider Queen pretty quick there. Gorgoro with a classic miss. Block. Yeah, Nadir was really good against the spiders. Her being able to stun anybody on the field and then lock spiders into the back row was also really good. All right, that was like phase 2, and now it goes on to phase 3. With a piercing, inhuman psychic shriek, the spider matriarch perishes after stumbling backward from the many, many wounds inflicted on her bloated form. She falls on her back, twitching, her legs curling upward and inward. Even though you loathe the thought of going... Oh, never mind, we actually killed her. Even though you loathe the thought of going near the creature, you gather your courage, grabbing the spear of a fallen ally, ensure she is indeed dead by driving the tip through her many-eyed head. The remaining pale spiders flee, drawing into dark holes and disappearing from sight. The hunt is over. The unnatural terror subsides, and your mind no longer aches from the matriarch's intruding presence. Finally, good bloody riddance, Karendar says, poking the Spider Queen's corpse with the rim of his shield. This is going to seriously hamper the arachnid's dreams of conquest, Drala chimes in, appearing by your side. Well fought, all of you, Captain Thabron adds his voice to the strange sepulchral gathering around the vanquished matriarch. May I suggest we depart at once, this nest. Spiders may shun it for now, but who knows when their courage overwhelms their grief. Perhaps you two can afford them too much in the way of emotion, Karendar tells him with a frown. Perhaps we are just trying to understand them more by looking at them on our own terms, Drala says, shrugging. Suit yourselves, Karendar waves his hand. I'm badly bruised and in no mood for contemplation. It's time to leave. You might be beaten, but you are undefeated. I have been beaten, indeed. The venomous Fang rejoin you at the tunnel leading out of the matriarch's inner nest. Tarhek is supported by a pair of surviving shamans. Nothing is said about Urdok's demise, but the orcs are taking pains to reclaim all of their slain's corpses, to give them final rites, they say. You reach the previous nest clusters, now completely devoid of spiders, and stumble upon a gruesome scene involving the captives previously liberated from the cocoons. Although you find about half of them guarded by a few orc tribesmen, the rest, the dark elves and scavengers, are piled up a few steps away. Terrible skull wounds on them allude to the execution by axes or clubs. The dwarves are all disheartened by the sight, but Drala especially is furious. What have you done? She snarls at Tarhek. I do not know what happened, the young shaman says defensively. The tribesmen left to guard the captives admit to slaying the non-orcs when they thought the battle was going sour and lashed out in anger against the dark elves and the scavengers. You had no right, Drala tells them, seething. Her anger makes her mouth twitch as her grip tightens around her crossbow's handle. The venomous Fang warriors notice this, and their hands move toward their weapons. Unwise. Captain Thabron steps next to Drala, but you realize that he is addressing the orcs, not the scout. Please, friends, Tarhek says softly, let us handle this act of disobedience in our own way. Fair enough. Karendar steps in, as usual, his gruff voice and the potent presence vanquishing animosity almost right away. Unfortunate as it is, we were fighting for our lives. He turns to Drala, his voice soothing. Let us not antagonize our allies now. So close to victory. Let this go, he concludes, but Drala is still angry. That's an order, her cousin says coldly, cutting her off as she is about to say something. So I did side with Karendar here, mostly because I felt like it was the orcs wanting to punish them in their own way, and it was gonna lead to bad blood if the dwarves wanted to punish them. I didn't agree with them killing those guys, but I did step in and be like, Karendar's right, we don't want to kill anybody here. At some point, I make the decision. Is it? Yay! Your intervention results in cooler heads prevailing. Although you can tell that Drala's sense of justice has been hurt, and that she has placed at least part of the blame on you, still, she relents, and the hunting party can finally set out toward the higher districts of Doom Garak. Karandar expresses his gratitude a few minutes later, out of earshot of everyone else. He even comments on unpopular decisions leaders have to make, but does not seem to be in the mood to elaborate. See, I agree with him. It's like Karandar knew that was morally wrong, but he had to cool everybody off. You and your allies drag yourselves out of the deepest hole beneath Doom Garak. Although everyone is wounded and exhausted, or both, by some miracle you leave the crawling underbelly unchallenged. It seems that the matriarch's death plunged the spider colony into a strange apathy. According to Karandar, this victory does not mean the arachnids will give up and draw back into the mountain hold, but they will be certainly less aggressive and prolific for a long time. Once you reach the cavern where you first gathered for the hunt, the group prepares to break up and head back to their respective homes. You accompany the dwarves to rejoin the rest of the comitatus at Dolan's Hold. Drala gathers her people before setting out. I think we make our way back to Dolan's Hold here. And then we go talk to the orcs after this. Yeah, it's been fun doing the quest lines between the different squads. It's kind of interesting that the different scavenger groups are factions you can gain reputation with, but the dwarves and the orcs are just like minor factions essentially. It may not seem like it, but we're grateful for arranging all of this, Vagrus, she tells you after checking on her companions. It's just that everyone's pretty badly beaten up. You glance over where Karandar is sitting by himself, looking into the gloom of the caverns. He'll be fine, Drala says softly. I think he just feels the coming of change, specifically that something that he has to do but isn't looking forward to. I can't blame him either. He asked me to give this to you. Captain Thabron joins the conversation and hands you something wrapped in cloth. Opening it, you find an old but neatly carved piece of stone, no greater than your palm. On its flat surface, the warm glow of a rune can be traced. We reclaimed some of these runes when we first came from Doom Garak. My warriors carry a few of these. One of them, Rorik, was slain in the fight against the matriarch. Karandar and I decided that you should have this. A rune of old. Narth, this one's called. Strikes fear in the heart of foes. You accept the gift graciously. Meanwhile, Tarhek approaches you after having talked to Karandar. We must leave soon, he tells you quietly. The spirits of Urdak and the others who were slain must be tended to. But I wanted you to know that you've helped us to a great victory today. That thing, the matriarch, it was a great curse on these lands. However, I know also that the chieftain will look on to our other enemy now and push for an all-out attack against the Sardaukron clan's colony to end the fighting in Doom Garak once and for all. He'll send messengers to Karandar's folks soon enough. We'll need both of you to commit to such an attack. I must admit that he is right. In a sense, we can't put this off any longer. Let's hope that it can be done quickly and painlessly as possible. The orcs gather up their gear, their dead, and their wounded, and depart towards Thane's vault. Best we go too, Karandar says gloomily. We should talk when you've rested and want to proceed with the Venomous Fangs war. You and the dwarves leave the caverns and head to Dolan's. So we got the Narth rune, which is kind of cool. I think we go check it out here. Go to the companions. Scroll down. Right there, Ben. The Kernel of Zar, I don't know what that is. It gives you frenzy though. Right there. Damage, mind resistance, intimidation, and terrifying. So it's actually a pretty solid rune. I can't remember if I equip that on Eilani here. I think I stick with the Morgarthan's jail on Eilani because it's a really strong item. Scroll over. I didn't take the Saint's Fingerbone. And the armor from the Dragonstone of Protection is just really good. So I have a hard time justifying taking that one off of my frontliners for sure. I didn't give it to Finderath. Did I give it to Vorax? Oh, that's right. I took the Erd rune off of Harvick and gave him the Narth rune. Like, resistances are great, but honestly, the additional damage plus Terrify seems really, really strong on Harvick. Plus Intimidation and Mind Resistance, so not too bad. And then, yeah, Gorgoro still has the Verukai gauntlets granting him lifesteal and the Dragonstone for armor as well as his own natural armor, which is pretty sick. I'm just poking around in my inventory now. There's a lot of equipment that you can gather in this game. I have been really pleased to see like the amount of equipment that gets added through the DLC. There's some really cool stuff in there. We do want to rest here. I don't remember if I did that, but I should have. I don't think I did. We immediately go to the Venomous Fang. And then I think we go talk to the chieftain here to get the quest progressing along. Oh, no, we have to go talk to Karendar first. Poking around in my journal. You guys journal? I used to journal a bit, but I kind of fell out of the habit. It was more of a pandemic lockdown thing. Not bad, though. It's kind of fun. It's nice to write. I like writing. It's a fun pastime. To the old craftsman's district. I don't know why I came down here. Why did I do that? I'm just a curious guy. I go all sorts of places. I do really like the art in this game, though. I've said it a million times, but it bears repeating. It's really, really good. Oh, I should have tracked down Drala. I didn't see that as an option. I could have talked to her. Everything is ready for the final attack on the Sardaukron clan, so let's talk with them about it. Karendar listens intently to your account of what the allies think need to be done, and then he nods with a serious expression on his rugged features. I've received a messenger from them already, making their intent clear. We are ready to strike when you are, he tells you solemnly. As much as I detest this, I agree that it has to be done. Soon our position in Doomgarok shall be stable enough for the journey ahead, Iruki announces with glee. Fight like a champion that you both are. The pretenders and squatters who would besmirch our ancestral home will regret the day that they came here. You ask Karendar about the feasibility of such an attack. Joint forces like ours, as well as that of our allies, should be enough to conquer the foe, Karendar confirms. Captain Tharbron agrees with this assessment, yet this will not be a stroll by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not worried about your preparedness. You've proven yourself many times over now. When you return to our allies, tell them that we are coming. We'll be ready too. The matter is discussed, and Karendar busies himself with the preparations. Subsequently, you leave the tower and return to the marshalling grounds, deep in thought about what is to come. Your anxiety mounts, as does the sense of inevitability. There is no going back now that much is certain. When you are ready to attack, you are to return to the settlement of your allies in the mountains. The Venomous Fang orcs are waiting for your word. The dwarves encamped... we don't need that. Go back to our Comitatus. We exchange news. Do I still not rest here? What a fool. I don't think I rest here because I do remember in the next episode, because I recorded all three of these back to back to back. And thank God in the third episode, the audio is actually back to normal. I must have like unplugged my mic and put it back together or something. But in the third episode, when we're fighting the Dark Elves, I'm like, oh God, I'm out of what is the purple? I never remember what the purple resource is in the bottom left. It's not renown, it's insight. I think it's insight. But you use it to fuel like various abilities of yours, like picking up your companions when they've been downed in combat and like improving your skill checks and whatnot. And they get replenished after just a rest, but I completely forgot to do that. So we go into the next series of fights without any ability to pick our companions up, but overall it's not too bad. There is some. I won't spoil it too much, but there is some hairiness in the next fights. You'll just have to tune in the next episode to see how things go down. But we're gonna go through and set up ourselves for Comitatus combat, for companion combat, two very different things. So we're gonna go talk to the orcs here. At some point, Yeah, visit the chieftain, tell him that we are ready to face the Sardaukron clan. Finally, Chieftain Rockbrawl exclaims upon hearing about Karendar's commitment. The fall of our foe is within our grasp, and at last we can rid Doomgarok of interlopers. Despite my previous doubts, I must admit that you are an important part of the campaign, Vagrus. However, there is a battle ahead of us, a brutal one. The Dark Elves will not go quietly. They know that they are losing, perhaps even sense that their last stand is fast approaching. The chieftain's yellow gaze pierces you as he rises from his throne-like chair. The dwarves are prepared to strike, he says quietly and decisively. But are you? Of course, I'm ready at all times. For anything. It'd be kind of cool just to get to 20,000 gold. That should be like a long-term goal for us. Then it is time to move out, Rockbrawl announces and leaves his hall. Once outside, he bellows a war cry that brings most of the village together around him in a few minutes. He then proceeds to deliver a brief but powerful speech to his warriors and picks the ones that will be part of the assault, while the shamans sing and consecrate them one by one. I'll send for Karendar, the chieftain tells you when the war ritual is underway. Once he is here with his dwarves, we'll set out to battle the Sardaukron side by side. You comply, rallying your fighting crew and companions for the inevitable. Meanwhile, the orcs keep gathering inside the village. It seems that at least 3/4 of the greenskin warriors will be deployed. The fierce, hardy orcs are soon ready to depart. Tarhek gathers his shamans and selects a handful to accompany him into fire and fury under the watchful eye of the ancestral spirits. In a matter of an hour, Karendar and his small group of fighters join the gathering, and you are set to proceed with the attack. The chieftain, clad in his chitin armor, signals for everyone to follow him. Time is of the essence, but this march also has to be silent, and the orcs are masterful hunters and scouts, especially in their home turf. Quiet, ever so quietly, the warriors and allies of the Venomous Fang tribe stalk through Doomgarok's dark corridors. I wonder how different the quest line between the Dark Elves and the orcs is. The warband makes its way across the ruined halls and corridors of Doomgarok, picking strange and hidden paths you have not known about while staying out of sight. The orcs move surreptitiously, keeping to the shadows and making barely any sound. Karendar's warriors are less sneaky, but they stay back so as not to alert Dark Elf patrols and lookouts. The route you take is unknown to you, and you realize that the tribe was holding out on you regarding their knowledge of these ancient halls. At length, you halt when the orcs stop ahead of you. A message is passed down the line from the chieftain himself. Scouts are sent forward to explore the way ahead, and you are to stay put until a new order is given. You tell your companions to be on the lookout for threats, while the dwarven leaders join you at the junction of the corridors you currently occupy. It appears that our orc friend is confident in issuing orders to all of us, Karendar says with a smile, betraying that he is poking fun at the matter. They did get very enthusiastic at the prospect of indiscriminate murder, Drala chimes in, her face a mask of disdain. Are we certain there is no other way? Isn't it a bit too late for second thoughts? Iruki butts in with a smirk before Karendar is able to speak. Really, you only become this conscious of the price of our quest these days when it undermines Karendar's decisions. Drala's face turns red and her nostrils flare, but she controls her anger before speaking. I will leave it to you then. I want no part of this butchery. Drala, Iruki, please, Karendar protests, but Drala has taken up her crossbow and is already in the process of leaving. My decision is final, cousin, she says softly. You'll be more than capable of unleashing death on the Dark Elves with our new friends and the Vagrus by your side. You don't need me for this. You watch her leave in silence when Karendar sighs. I wonder, I feel like that was influenced by our decision to back Karendar rather than Drala in the last decision when the orcs killed the prisoners. I'm guessing if you don't piss off Drala, she could be a companion in the combat ahead. Was this necessary, beloved? He asks Iruki, his gaze glinting with an odd anger. I'm sorry, but I could no longer bear her self-righteous drivel, the dwarf woman replies, still a bit heated. In times like this, when so much is on the line and our very lives are in danger, we cannot afford naysayers like this. Worry not, beloved, she'll come around as she always does. Well, there's nothing to be done now, that's certain, Karendar admits, though you can tell that he is hurt. Whether by Drala's decision or Iruki's attitude, you cannot say. Why the clamor? The deep, angry voice of Chieftain Rockbrawl reaches you as the huge orc walks up to the gathering. Perhaps there is doubt among your people, and about your involvement. You need not worry about my tribe, chieftain, only yours, Karandar tells him disdainfully, fixing his stalwart gaze on the frowning orc. We're right here with you, ready to fight. You never learn what Rockbrawl's reply would have been because a scout runs up to him and whispers something into his ear. The chieftain barks a command to move out, and you all pick up the pace. Soon you enter the echoing halls of Thane's vaults, and ancient statues of dwarven kings and nobles line the walls, while runes etched into the smooth rock lend a mysterious air to the district. Spreading out, the venomous Fang scouts dispose of a few dark elven watchmen silently, their movements masked by the summoned spirits of Tarhek and his fellow shamans. A veteran hunting party, the Orc Warband, enters the chambers and corridors ahead, approaching the colony of the Sardaukron clan at the far end of Thane's vaults. The foe will learn of our presence soon, the young shaman announces. Their dark magic permeates this place. We are doing our best to obscure our approach, but time is of the essence. The war party proceeds to stalk through the corridors and halls of Thane's vaults. So we're about to get to the point where we have to decide how we want to approach the coming fight here. That's also a cool piece of art. In the next whoops. What was I doing? In the next hour or so, the war party edges closer and closer to the Sardaukron colony. The Dark Elves appear unaware of their impending doom. No horns are sounded and no defenses are being prepared, at least as far as one can tell while traversing the tunnels. Still, you do not have time to tarry if the shamans are to be believed. Thus, the leaders of the endeavor convene to discuss strategy. The chieftain explains that the tribe have been formulating an attack plan for some time. First, a sizable group will reveal itself in several halls close to the colony, prompting the Dark Elves to mount their defenses in a hurry and under pressure. As the Sardaukron counterattack is on the way, no doubt pushing the orcs back, a small group will sneak into the colony through an old, half-collapsed tunnel, reach its back section, and assassinate the sorcerers. They are by far the greatest threat, something that can turn the tide thanks to the dark magic they call upon. Slaying them is thus key to a Venomous Fang victory. A third group will stay hidden and in reserve. Once the Dark Elves are drawn out of the colony to fight in the tunnels, believing that they are winning, but before the sorcerers are gone, this third group will flank the Sardaukron clan's lines and seal the fate of the colony. Commendable strategy, though there is much that can go wrong with several elements, Karandar points out. I believe that our orc friends would argue that certain risks must be taken to get rid of this foe, Iruki advises her consort, and the chieftain grunts in acknowledgement. We must take the risk, he says indignantly, otherwise we'll never be rid of the elven interlopers. Do you mean to abandon us in this fight? Is this the hour our alliance is tested most? That was the orc chieftain. But anyway, the Karandar merely points out potential peril to make everyone aware of what's at stake. Tarhek intervenes as the chieftain bristles. He and his will stand with us to the bitter end, am I right? We won't fail you, Karandar confirms, and the chieftain backs off. But what are each of us going to do? This plan has several key roles, as you say. So this is where we decide how we're going to approach the fight, and we're going to do that at the beginning of the next episode. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is the last one where the audio got screwed up, so we'll have game audio back in the next one. If you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button. It helps me out a lot. If you want to see more episodes of Vagrus The Riven Realms or the other videos I have going on the channel, subscribe to the channel and make sure you also have your notifications on so you know when the next videos go live. But until next time, everyone, I hope you had a good one, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye, everybody!